It's your boy Bunny 3000 here, and ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year once again. The holiday season is upon us. We're all looking for those great games that came out this year that we didn't get a chance to play, and I'm definitely here to tell you guys that Shadow of Mordor needs to be on your backlog playlist now. When it comes to nominating a game like Shadows of Mordor, the one thing you have to remember is that innovation doesn't always have to make a game just so drastically different from what you've seen before. It just needs to basically do it better than those that have in the past. Shadows of Mordor basically is that game. You can probably tell from a lot of the other reviews and things that you've heard that Shadows of Mordor plays kind of like an Assassin's Creed game that has a healthy dose of Batman Arkham Asylum. But as you can see here, Middle Earth gives it a personality of its own. The orcs that you fight and the war chiefs, they all look drastically different, have their own names. They sound, I guess you could say they sound slightly different. But one thing that you will not be at a loss for is personality. These orcs, for the most part, look really different. And you'll always find yourself saying, wow, look at the detail that's put into the faces of each one of these guys. And as you play the game, it's like the stealth portions of it just make you feel like you can take on 20, 30, 40 orcs at a time. But just when you thought you had it, here comes another war chief. And trust me, these war chiefs know what they're doing when they're fighting you. When you actually get to that point where you think you've gotten it, next thing you know, someone chops you down. And when you do, that's when the innovation actually begins. Because of the way the story is driven, you have this new system that's actually quite innovative called the Nemesis system. As you can see here, each of these war chiefs and captains, they have different levels, different power structure, different power between each one of them, which tells you how difficult they are. And as they go through about their own day-to-day lives within their own war, they actually change hands. They fight each other. They do all kinds of stuff. And once they do, their strengths and weaknesses actually change. Now, as you're going through, you'll also notice that the game has its own bit of, RPG to it. You're never at a loss for a way to take down your enemies. They give you a wealth of different statistics, different moves, different ways to take out hordes of orcs at the same time. And trust me, you're going to need each and every one of them in order to take them down. Thankfully, this game does a great job of placing information on the screen in a good area so that you're actually able to do these interesting combos, all these different moves and everything that look just as cool as they pretty much sound. And you'll never be at a loss for finding different ways to take down orcs. It's all these different ways of taking down orcs that actually help the game in its replayability. One particularly interesting way is what you're seeing here. You're gaining intel on all these different war chiefs. What it'll do is it'll actually allow you to figure out how to take these guys down. And once you get to a high enough level, you'll actually be able to pit these war chiefs against each other. You'll be able to, rather than just kill them off, you'll be able to send one in to do your dirty work. So, gaining intel, working the Nemesis system, going up against all these different orcs is just an amazing way that Shadow of Mordor became one of the biggest surprise games that I played this year and is definitely a Game of the Year nominee. Once again, the Nemesis system really is something. I don't want to say it's completely revolutionary, but it's certainly something I'd love to see in other franchises. Assassin's Creed could really utilize this Nemesis system pretty well in some kind of interesting storyline. Of course, Shadows of Mordor is very similar to Assassin's Creed, which would make it pretty organic for them to include it in that kind of a game system. Maybe if they tried to have a Nemesis system in something like, say, XCOM, where, you know, different aliens had strengths and weaknesses that were different from each other, maybe. Hey, anything. Strengths and weaknesses for something that's other than a complete boss that requires you to use different skills or different guns or something like that. I think it's a good thing. And just to see the dynamics between the orcs and how they interact with each other and have their own power struggles outside of what you're actually trying to do, which of course is eliminate them all, it was really interesting. Again, I'd love to see something like a Nemesis system in other games. Maybe like Mercenaries, you know, something like that. But again, that's basically a big reason why I considered this a Game of the Year nominee for me. It's just got extreme fun factor. It's going to be a game that I keep. It's going to be a game that I play over again and just have fun with. You have such an amazing feeling of badassery when you're playing this game. And that's definitely good in my eyes. So yes, check it out. Put it on your queue. This is your boy, BJ Bunny 3000 for Gaming Precision, signing out.